Ben, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Sorry.
Yeah. Welcome here. It's a pleasure having you. Look, personally, I know that we're going to talk about AI, right? I'm already excited about it, right? So I would like to start asking a very simple questions. Who are you? Yeah? Like a simple one, and we'll be...
I mean, how long do you have? So I'm Ben, head of marketing at ElizaOS. Eliza Labs, the creators and maintainers of the ElizaOS AI agent framework. I've been, involved with the projects since pretty close to the beginning, but kind of full-time in this role since end of last year. I have a background in go-to-market and marketing. I've been around the block. I've been working full-time in Web3 for the last 2 years for a whole range of things, perp decks, collateralized debt lending protocols, portfolio managers, and prior to that, I have a background in fintech, in growing fintech companies from pre-seed to Series A, B acquisition. Just kind of naturally found a route from these early stage kind of semi-chaotic fintech companies into where the real finance is happening and where the real chaos is. And since making the change to be full time, I haven't looked back.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting background. Yeah. I always ask the people I interview to tell a story, right? Where the love for what you do today comes from, right? Originally. I should have.
No. That's a good question. I'm sorry. I love to think about things like this and get very philosophical. The love for what I do today comes from, with Eliza, comes from our community and the closeness of interaction that I get to have in marketing, but actually all of us get to have in the team with the people who are building, the people who are enabling our builders, and the people who are, in my opinion, creating the future of AI and how we're going to use agents. My motivation for kind of getting into Web3 is a little more, political, I guess you could say. The thing that really attracted me to begin with was just the idea of accessibility to financial tools and essentially DeFi that, normally only billionaires would get a chance to have. The idea of being able to borrow and lend in amounts that aren't millions or billions of dollars, but thousands, that can really, enable people to take financial control in a way that they haven't before. So that's kind of how I got into the Web3 space. And then, AI was inevitable. I was fortunate enough to be working alongside someone who was one of the first 3 people, I think, involved with AI 16Z as it was then. Got pulled into that, and now, if I thought I was excited about crypto before, now it's crypto and AI. It's beyond what I could have imagined.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I can emphasize on what you said because I meet a lot of people here, and it's always the love for either the technology, or the people, or more often a mix of both. Right, because we build technology for people, and a previous speaker was telling me, look, Loic, I believe that the hype is done, right? And now we have to focus on utility, on what we do with what we build, right? And I think then we have to focus on the people, right? We have to focus on the people, on what is the problem, what is the need, and so that is a passion that I have as well. Thinking about the people on what we do, right? It's very important.
No, I completely agree. I think that's been a kind of a fundamental issue in Web3, crypto, whatever you want to call it. For a while, there's a lot of there are a lot of really intelligent people who can quickly see how the infrastructure and applications that are being built are the future.
Yeah.
But we haven't really kind of crossed that chasm into delivering those applications, whether it's in AI agents or any of the dApps that we see in terms of adoption. There are a few kind of point examples that really find product market fit and really start to excel. But I do also feel that we're in a transition moment. I mean, being here at ETHCC and talking to the people who are building, particularly for ElizaOS, but also in general, there's a fatigue of over-promising. There is a fatigue of meme coins and speculation. And people are saying, like, look, we're all the same people that were here last cycle. Why is that? Like, we should be building stuff that people who are not us want to use. And I think we're all coming to this same realization that we need to, like, okay, we're all happy, but like, if we're gonna get everyone as excited as we are, we got to deliver some shit. And I think we're really, really close to, you know, making that happen and exploding.
And you're saying deliver some shit, but the shit that we not only us love, right?
Exactly.
We need to build solutions for people that are not here in this room, not OGs and has been around for a while, for real people that have real problems, and I believe that our technologies. And we are talking here about ElizaOS, not only about blockchain but AI as well. So you are really at the cornerstone of those two technologies. Building things that make sense for them.
Yeah, I think it's very natural that AI and crypto have kind of come together as they have. I'll be the millionth person to have said this, but I think, you know, blockchain is better suited to an agent than it is a human. It's also it allows us to apply that blockchain technology to something that isn't necessarily speculation or even finance-based. I mean, blockchain as a database, as a means of record, it's something that enables us to trust our agents more if there is this blockchain record of kind of what's been going on. Yeah. So I think, and also the early adopter mentality, I think that we all have in this industry, meant that, like, when we had AI agents, you know, specifically for crypto, there was an immediate understanding of what the potential is, right? Now, but going back to what we were saying before is, you know, we've had a lot of potential over the last 6 months. And, you know, I think it's easy to think, you know, from the outside, hey, you know, I was listening to whatever Bankless, and they were saying that everything is going to change in 6 months, and Ejaz says this, and all these types of things. And, you know, I think we all could see that, but we were a bit excited on that timeline. And so, you know, you see in the market people saying, like, hey, where are the agents? You know, what's happening? But, you know, just a little alpha here. You know, I've been in ETH CC here in Cannes for just about a week now. And I've spoken to upwards of 40 builders in the Eliza ecosystem. And, you know, I can confidently say that these use cases that you and I and, you know, even my mother could use are coming, you know, in the next quarter. And we're really going to start to see these agents as products, agents as tangible tools, you know, really coming. And I think, you know, our biggest responsibility at Eliza is to enable, you know, these people. We succeeded in getting the mind share and the attention that we did because of our inclusive mentality and because of the accessibility of the framework to a huge number of people. And now we've handed it over to our community. They've been cooking, and, you know, we're going to use our platform to put these use cases forward in a way that really changes people's day-to-day lives, I think.
Yeah, you're talking about framework. You know, today we take it for granted that all the Web 2 framework and tools are, you know, existing and we're using it, right? And if we go back in time 15, 20 years ago, we should realize that there were a battle from defining what would be the framework that we will use then, right? And I think it's fundamental because we take it as granted, you know, for what we use on a daily basis at the solution level. But behind there is a lot of framework and it's fundamental and it's needed to grow. And to come back, because I would like to point of view regarding the intersection between blockchain and AI, but I used to say, and you tell me what you think, but my feeling is that AI can be seen as a dog and blockchain is the leash, right? In a sense that somehow you need to keep control, right, over AI, over what it is, right, over the ownership, right, over also how it's been used, right? So that's my personal, you know, view on that. But what do you think about the mix of those two technologies?
I think I completely see where you're coming from, and, you know, there's a part of me that agrees. Like I said before, blockchain is, in one way, shape, or form, going to be a means to keep our agents accountable, and also allow, you know, the market and consumers to have trust, you know, from the transparency, from the immutability of blockchain that we all know and love. But by saying it's a dog on a leash that somehow, indicates that blockchain also constrains AI. And I'm not sure that's the case. I would say that, the other side of it is maybe blockchain isn't the leash. Maybe blockchain is, the skateboard that the British bulldog is skateboarding on down the street, because, it provides a way to accelerate and just make it so much more damn cool than it could be just as a dog.
Yeah, an enabler.
Exactly. We're enabling it to kind of see its full potential. That's one of the reasons, I think, why Shaw, he's been developing ElizaOS for a hugely long time, years at least. And before ChatGPT, before Truth Terminal, the idea of an agent was very confusing to a lot of people. It's like, what's the difference between an agent and a bot? Or, how is that even going to be possible? Or what is the use case for this? Why is it important? And it was through crypto. It was through, the AI 16Z token and putting out as a vision the idea that you could have an investor, managing assets and operating on behalf of you autonomously. Like, you're not saying buy this, buy that. It's something that's really making decisions on its own. It has agency, right? That concept of agency over itself. I think that's what solidified it to me as crypto and AI being a match made in heaven, because it's so much more immediately tangible, and I think that's how we build up as well into AGI, into kind of the singularity type thing. Like, we start with these point solutions and 10xing our capabilities, or taking care of something that we don't necessarily have the time to do, and we're operating as like a QA for it. Agents as enablers is really where I think we're going, but and for a huge number of reasons, the what we said about blockchain. That's why I think we found such a great fit now. But like I said, I think it's our responsibility to use that. I might say, anyone that's building agents, it's our responsibility or agent frameworks rather, it's our responsibility to grow that now. It's to say like, hey, okay, we've convinced this, this pocket of people, this industry. What other ways can we still leverage AI and blockchain in a way that abstracts that, dev and tech knowledge and puts the focus more on the use case, on the value add. So that's what I'm really most interested to see about the coming weeks and months, is people using these two technologies together, but abstracting it away from the user experience.
Well, that's fascinating, and that takes me to the questions regarding ElizaOS. Sorry. What is the next step, right? Where do you stand with the project, with the framework, and what are the next steps for you guys?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, and something that I'm very excited to talk about. So we've begun rolling out version 1.0 as we enter what we're affectionately calling Eliza V2. We're really entering our second phase. I can characterize the first phase of our development and evolution as seeding the idea and exposing the vision. But I think we've done a good job of that now. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone, at ETHCC or even just on the street that hasn't heard about agents and AI and some kind of future for it. But we're making a really concerted transition now into, like I said, this idea of tangibility and delivering real value to users of these products. And so, what V2 means for us is honing the focus of all our development and our growth, go-to-market resources on building out and improving this version 1.0, supporting our partners or developers who are building plugins, and really showcasing the awesome stuff that that developers and projects are building with that. The next 6 months is really going to see, anything you hear from Eliza is always going to be focused on who's gained value and how did they gain value from it. Our point of view is that we are, we're here to make it happen. We're here to enable the development of the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we've seen the power that having a diverse open source community can have in spreading that message. And now we're turning that message into products. And like I said, I've spoken with loads of these developers and projects while I've been here, and these things are coming soon. And this could be anything from a natural upgrade of slot bots on Twitter, to being more nuanced, pertinent, and appropriate responses in line with your strategic needs as a KOL or as a marketer. To other products, like DeFi agents who are taking action themselves without necessarily having play-by-play input from the user. It could also be things that are a bit more kind of on the infra side of things. People who are developing solutions using a combination of AI tools and blockchain to, like I said, give validity or ensure that we can track what each agent is doing. There is one of the reasons why open source is so important to us is because it gives this distributed access and distributed power to AI builders at a time when so much is being centralized into the hands of the big names in the industry.
Yes.
And so the reason I bring that up is talking about these kind of some behind the scenes things that people are developing. We need mechanisms for agents to have not just reliability but also morals and kind of a moral compass, not just so that they're not a dick in conversation, but so that they are not acting against humanity. We don't want to howl like.
And that's a big question. That's a big question. It's the center of AI, right? It's ethics, right? Of models of how do we use this? Again, that's I believe that AI is a very powerful tool, and it will be even more powerful in the coming years and decades. But the question of ethics, right, with any weapons, I wouldn't compare with nuclear weapon, but still, right, there is a question of responsibility, right? What do I do? How do that impact humanity, right?
Yeah, I think there are going to be. Look, I'm an eternal optimist, so I'm not one of these doomers who's going to say, everything's going to go to shit and AI is going to take over, and you better be saying please and thank you to ChatGPT, otherwise, I don't think we're at a point where we can decisively say that it's all going to explode and everything's going to go to shit. But I don't think we can sit back either.
Absolutely.
And I think personally, my solution to that is to recognize that there are going to be slip-ups, there are going to be things that go wrong, agents that go beyond what we wanted them to be able to do, or have some kind of dangerous, or at least, if not dangerous, at least unethical behavior. But by keeping that development transparent as possible, we are at least not going to be. We're going to be aware that these things are happening, knowing maybe who is making it happen, and above all, that they're not one of the it's not a monopoly. Like they don't have the complete power to continue doing that. Being part of an ecosystem, relying on the work and the effort of people who've come before you, is I think one of the ways that we can retain our humanity as we further this industry.
Thank you very much, Ben. Look, it's a lot of information and insights from you building at Eliza, right? Maybe to conclude, we have our community listening to every different talks. How people could engage, right, with ElizaOS? How they can participate? They can fund. They can build, right? What would be the call to action for people?
I mean, I would say, first and foremost, go check out the framework. Look on GitHub. If
we will share all relevant link behind the video.
Yeah, thanks. I think even if you're not a developer, one of the things we pride ourselves on is the accessibility of this. And if you do have some familiarity with developing, I think that's the quickest way to kind of understand the route between the vision that everyone's talking about and what's possible. But once you've done that, once you've checked it out, come into our Discord, come introduce yourself. We do a lot of stuff in our Discord channel. That's where you'll get a lot of support as well as a builder. We also have smaller groups of pockets of builders doing particular researching or developing different things. So you should check it out there. But if you're someone who's not planning to build, then I think the best thing to do at the moment, follow Shaw on Farcaster. He's really the mouthpiece for what we do, and if you want to kind of understand where we're going and follow that progress, he's a great guy to follow as well. But yeah, and then finally, skipped my mind. No, never mind. I think those are the good ones.
Okay,
that's enough for now. Yeah.
Okay. In any ways, we will have time to add
exactly.
extra information, right? There is no problem. Thank you very much for being here with us.
It's been a pleasure.
Ben.
Thanks, and I hope I didn't chew your ear off too much. But as you can tell, I'm so excited about what's happening. Eliza is really.
You have a lot of reasons to be.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.